I'll now turn to my colleague, George Miller, the senior Democratic member of the committee, for his opening remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I join you in welcoming Jason back, and good morning to our witnesses, and thank you for coming and sharing your time and your expertise with us. This morning's hearing focuses on one of the most important issues in public school education, accountability. We've had a number of hearings this year examining the federal role in education, and I think that the universal agreement we need is that we need to update No Child Left Behind, and the witnesses have told us that there is in fact a need for federal government in education, and specifically when it comes to accountability. In our first education hearing this year, one of the Republican witnesses said that the federal government needs to put guardrails in place to ensure quality and provide support. I believe that these guardrails must include college and career-ready standards, goals to ensure that standards are met, and aggressive but achievable annual performance targets so that states, districts, and schools know what is expected of them in continuing to move all students forward. Without accountability, parents, teachers, and school administrators have no way of knowing what exactly is happening in schools and whether our students are learning and our schools are improving. Parents shouldn't wonder if their child's school is preparing that child to succeed in college after graduation or in a career. And if their child isn't on track to graduate with those skills, parents should know their school has a responsibility to improve and meet their child's needs. Without accountability, it is too easy to return to a time prior to NCLB when students and actual performance was masked by averages. Accountability is at the heart of No Child Left Behind. The law shined a bright light on how all students were performing, including low-income students, minority students, and students with disabilities. 10 years later, there is a need for reform, and the need for transparency and accountability and action remains critical to any reform. When we wrote the law, our intention was very clear. We wanted a laser-like focus on data and accountability to improve the education of students that were falling behind. We took the important step forward, calling for communities to be transparent about the achievement of all children. And now we need to take the next step, which is to balance that accountability we worked so hard to implement in No Child Left Behind with greater flexibility at the local level, with less prescription at the federal level. We need an accountability system that works and refuses to let any student slip through the cracks. We must set high goals for all students and provide them with a challenging and rigorous learning environment that is tied to college and career-ready standards, not the standards that lead to remedial classes in college, but actual ability to participate in college curriculum. Students need creative, effective teachers who hold them to high goals and standards and can adjust their teaching strategies when needed. These efforts are happening in some schools and some states, but not in enough. These high expectations should be there for every child in every school. The role of the federal government in accountability is essential to meet these high expectations and to ensure that all children receive a high-quality education. And the federal government should require that all states and each school district use data-based decision-making to target interventions to improve the academic achievement of all students. Attacking the federal role or eliminating it won't get us closer to being the best in the world in education. It won't help our economic security or our global competitiveness. What it will do is make things harder for schools and students that need the most help. Getting the federal role right on accountability and in all matters is a smart way to move forward. Unfortunately, in this committee, we've seen legislation that would be detrimental and harmful to the neediest students. The flexibility package we passed in July will create a slush fund for school districts, and that is unacceptable. It will take away money and resources from the neediest students and let school districts forego the civil rights priorities and the education equality promised in students under the important court cases like Brown v. Board of Education. There is very little support for the bill in the education community because people who know the needs of school districts know why NCLB was signed into law, to ensure a quality education for all students, a goal that must not be forgotten in the next reauthorization. I look forward to hearing from all of our witnesses about the accountability programs that you've structured in your districts, and I yield back my time. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.